Hi guys, I'm going to do 3 examples for multiplying binomials on Deltamath. If you have not done the distributive property, that was the assignment before this, please do that one first, all right? Because we are going to incorporate the distributive property for multiplying binomials. And from that, what we're really going to do is we're just multiplying each term with one another, all right? So there is a process, we call it foiling, all right? Or we call it the FOIL method when it comes to multiplying binomials or trinomials. We're just going to FOIL, all right? So what should you expect when we start off with at least multiplying binomials? So for your answer, all right, your answer is always going to be a trinomial. All right, so a trinomial has 3 terms, okay? Now, there are special cases when your answer is going to be a binomial. So 2 terms. Now, the only time that your answer is going to be a binomial is when you have a special case, and that special case is called a difference of squares. All right, so I can't write all of it in there because it won't fit, but essentially it's going to be the same binomial but with different signs. All right, so what do I mean by the same binomial? So it has to be the same binomial. So if we have a x plus 2, the x has to be the same and the 2 have to be the same, but instead of a plus sign, it's a minus sign. All right, so that's just an example of a difference of squares. So if all of the exponents or the variables or the numerical values are all different, you're always going to get a trinomial for your answer. Okay, so let's take a look at the first example and break down how to FOIL. All right, so we have x minus 4, x plus 5. All right, when we distribute, we want to multiply every term with the other terms. We don't want to double it up, and in this case, if we FOIL, it's going to better help us have a systematic way of doing the same distribution without double multiplying. All right, so what does FOIL stand for? FOIL stands for first, outer, inner, and last. All right, so when we FOIL, we're going to do the first terms first. All right, so we're going to take the first term and we're going to multiply it with the first term of the second binomial. So x times x is going to give us x squared. All right, so that's first. So x times x, that is our first. Outer, so we're going to take that first term and we're going to multiply it with the outer term of the second binomial. So we still have that x from the first one, but we're going to multiply it by the outer number. All right, so we have x times 5, which is the same as 5x. So that's a positive 5x, right? So the next one, it says inner. So we're going to take the inner term of the first binomial and we're going to multiply it by the first term of the second binomial. So we're going to do negative 4 times x. All right, we're just multiplying them together, so we're going to get a negative 4x. We don't know what x is, so it just goes together. And then lastly is last. So we're going to take that last term of the second or the first binomial and multiply it by the second term of the second binomial. So really the last 2 numbers. All right, so negative 4 times a positive 5 gives you a negative 20. All right, so once you get here, you're going to combine like terms. If you follow this method, let's try that again. If you follow this method, you're already going to have it written in standard form, and the only two terms you have to combine are the ones right in the middle. All right, the first and the last do not combine, they don't have like terms, so that's just going to be rewritten, and it's the middle two terms that's going to be able to combine. So positive 5 minus 4 is going to be a positive 1, and then the x just comes along for the ride. You don't need to write 1, so I did not. And then minus 20, and then there you go. That is your answer. We're going to go ahead and plug that in. So x squared plus x minus 20. Go ahead and submit, press yes, and there we go, done. All right, so second example. Go ahead and give us some space here. All right, second example is 2x. Oh, I'm gonna move this down a little bit. 2x minus 7. 3x plus 6. All right, so we're going to do the FOIL method. So we're going to do the first two terms of each binomial. So we have 2x times 3x. All right, that's the first thing we're going to do. So again, numbers, you're multiplying the numbers. So 2 times 3 is 6, and the x, you're adding the exponents. So the exponents are both 1, so 1 plus 1 is 2. This would be x squared. All right, now outer. So that 2x, we're going to multiply it with the outer number of the second binomial, which is 6. 2 times 6 is a positive 12. And then the x just comes along for the ride. All right, so that's the outer. Okay, next is the inner. So we have negative 7, and we're going to multiply that by 3x. So that gives us a negative 21, and the x just comes along for the ride. That's those two terms right there. And then lastly, the last two terms of each of the binomials. So negative 7 plus 6. All right, so negative 7 times, I don't know why I put plus sign there, is going to be a negative 42. All right, and there we go. Again, if you do it in this method, you're going to combine the two terms in the middle because they are like terms. All right, so that's going to give you 6x squared minus, because they're different signs, you're going to subtract the bigger number from the smaller number and keep the sign of the bigger number, which is 21 in this case. All right, this is going to be a negative 9, and the x comes along for the ride, minus 42. And that is going to be our answer. We're going to go ahead and plug that in right here. So 6x squared minus 9x minus 42. Go ahead and press submit, and there we go. And our last one is very similar to the one that we just did. Oh, because it's the same one. So let's try a new problem here. See if we can get something a little bit more different. Same. Nope. All right, I guess we'll just do this one for our last example. I am gonna go ahead and erase this bottom part right here. Keep all of our notes from the first part, so you have something to head and look at. All right, so here we have x plus 6, 3x minus 1. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and FOIL. So the first two terms, we have x times 3x. Well, this is really 1x times 3x. So multiply the numbers, that's gonna give you 3, and then add the exponents, so it's gonna be x squared. Outer, so the first term times the second term of the second binomial. So we have x times negative 1. We have negative x. You can write the 1 if you would like. All right, inner, so underneath, 6 times 3x. All right, so 6 times 3, That's going to give you a positive 18, and the x just comes along for the ride. And lastly, the last two terms of each one, 6 times -1 gives you a -6. Combine the two in the middle because they are like terms. You have 3x squared minus 17x minus 6, because this is -1, remember, plus 18. -1 plus 18 will give you a -17. Oh, positive 17. And then you just bring down the -6. Always go back and double check your signs. All right. All right, go back here, 3x squared plus 17x minus 6, and go ahead and press submit. Press yes, and there we go. Hope this helps. You guys have a great day. Bye.